Ever ponder why so many senior citizens awaken at 3 in the morning? This is more common than you might think, and it's not just a random habit or a result of growing older. In this video, we're going to look at 5 compelling reasons why people tend to wake up around 3 in the morning. If you can't seem to fall back asleep, you might lie there in the quiet darkness staring at the ceiling, wondering what's wrong with your body or your mind. You may see your sleep in a whole new light by the end of this video. These aren't just superficial explanations. They're based in real physiology, psychology, and the rhythms of aging that most people aren't even aware of. We'll talk about changes in hormones, sleep patterns, health challenges, and even emotional and social influences that may be quietly working behind the scenes. We'll do it in a way that's honest, empowering, and deeply respectful of the life you've lived thus far. If you've been wondering why, you've come to the right place. Read through to the end, because what you learn here may not only improve your quality of sleep, but also help you better understand and appreciate what your body is going through. Let's get started. First, lower melatonin production, which is one of the most obvious causes of older adults waking up in the middle of the night, usually around 3 in the morning. When you were younger, your body probably produced a strong, steady amount of melatonin each night, allowing you to enjoy long stretches of deep, uninterrupted rest. However, as the years go by, your body starts to produce less of it, and that shift can have a real impact on how soundly you sleep. You may still fall asleep easily at night, especially if you've had a full day or a relaxing evening, but by the early hours of the morning, 2 a.m., this is the natural decline in melatonin production that occurs with age. Melatonin is the hormone that helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle, often referred to as the body's internal clock. 3 a.m., sometimes it's 4 a.m. When your natural melatonin supply falls too low to maintain that peaceful condition, you can wake up not from a dream or a loud noise. Because you're without enough melatonin to keep you asleep, your brain is gradually returning to wakefulness. This isn't a sign that your body is failing, rather it's just that your internal chemistry is changing with age. Additionally, the bedroom environment can exacerbate this effect. Even tiny amounts of light from a street lamp outside the window, a blinking clock on the nightstand, or a hallway light beneath the door can suppress melatonin. As you age, your body becomes more sensitive to environmental triggers, which can make 3 a.m. For example, Harold, who is now 72 years old and has always thought of himself as a decent sleeper, finds himself wide awake at 3:15 a.m., which makes waking up even more frustrating. Most nights he doesn't feel anxious or upset, just fully alert, as if it's time to start the day. Once he understood that this wasn't a failure on his part, but a normal part of aging tied to melatonin, he stopped blaming himself and started adjusting his habits. He now keeps his bedroom darker, avoids screens an hour before bed, and takes a brief evening walk to reinforce his natural circadian rhythm. These small changes help signal to his body that it's still nighttime, and while he still wakes up early, sometimes he's learned to work with his body instead of against it. This kind of understanding can be a game. When you know that waking up early might not be your fault, but rather a natural chemical shift, you can take steps to support your sleep instead of resenting your body. That's the power of awareness. It turns frustration into compassion, and it helps you make wiser choices about how you care for yourself at night. Number 2, shifted sleep cycle and advanced sleep phase. Another significant reason older adults tend to wake up around 3 a.m. The advanced sleep phase is caused by a natural shift in the body's internal clock. As we age, our circadian rhythms begin to move forward, which means we may start to feel sleepy earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning. You may notice that you nod off during a late-night movie or wake up without an alarm at dawn, even on days when you wish you could sleep longer. This shift isn't just a habit, it's deeply rooted in biology, and it can become more noticeable with each year. In younger years, the body's rhythm is often aligned with a later bedtime and a wake-up time that feels more in sync with the sun. As this rhythm advances, the sleep window naturally shifts forward, and you may fall asleep at 9 p.m. or even earlier without meaning to, which indicates that by 3 a.m., your body has already had its full cycle of rest. Memorals around, that's why you might find yourself wide awake in the middle of the night, feeling as though your rest is complete, even if it's still pitch dark outside. This doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, it just means your body is operating on a different schedule. Now think of it like a clock that's been gently reset over the years, ticking ahead a little bit more each season. And while this isn't harmful, it can be frustrating if your lifestyle, family, routine, or personal preferences don't align with this new rhythm. There's also a quiet psychological side to this change. Many older adults live in quieter households or spend more time alone, and that peaceful environment can amplify the body's signals to wind down earlier in the day. Without the constant activity or noise that might have once delayed bedtime, your system begins its nightly shutdown process much sooner. And if you're no longer working full-time or following a strict daily routine, the lack of external time cues like meetings, commutes, or social gatherings can make this internal shift even stronger. Let's look at someone like Charles, who's 68 and retired. He often eats dinner around 5:30 p.m. and watches television for an hour before heading to bed. By 9 p.m., he's asleep, and by 3 a.m., after learning about the advanced sleep phase, Charles realized that his sleep wasn't broken but rather rescheduled. He started modifying his evening routine to stay up a little later, reading a book in a warm light, taking a gentle walk after dinner, and occasionally calling his daughter for a quick chat before bed. These small social and sensory cues help stretch his sleep window just enough to shift his wake-up time closer to morning, resulting in fewer 3 a.m. alerts. His body is naturally ready to wake up, and he doesn't feel anxious or stressed. Many older adults experience this natural shift in sleep cycle, but few discuss how it can alleviate a lot of guilt or confusion and provide a more compassionate way to work with your body rather than fighting it. If you're waking up around 3 in the morning, you may also feel more in tune with your everyday life, and you feel as though you've slept through the entire night. Your body might simply set an earlier schedule now, and once you know that, you can start to modify your routine in ways that promote your well-being. If you're still watching this video and find these insights helpful, please leave a comment below. If you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you do so and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support enables us to keep producing high-quality content that will inform and inspire you. Let's move on to number 3. Physical discomfort and health-related disruptions. This is another common reason older adults wake up at 3 in the morning. Is the body's response to physical discomfort or underlying health issues that tend to surface during the quiet hours of the night. As we get older, the chances of dealing with chronic conditions or subtle health problems increase, and many of these conditions have a way of disrupting sleep without sounding loud alarms. They creep in quietly like a sore joint, a full bladder, or a sudden twinge in the back, and that's often enough to bring you out of a restful state, right in the middle of the night. Conditions like arthritis, for example, can make lying in the same position for hours uncomfortable. You may not notice the discomfort when you first fall asleep, but after several hours of stillness, those aches can build up enough to nudge you awake for others. Nighttime acid reflux may stir them from sleep, especially if they've eaten dinner too late or reclined too soon, after eating even something as seemingly simple as dry mouth. Muscle cramps or a slight change in room temperature can trigger a light awakening around the early morning hours when your body's defenses are already more sensitive and less forgiving than they used to be. One of the most common physical reasons older men wake up at 3 a.m. The urge to urinate can occur more quickly and more frequently as we age, because our bladders get less elastic. You may not notice it during the day when you're distracted, but at 3 in the morning, you will. That feeling becomes unavoidable in a dark, quiet room, and once you get up and move around, even if it's just to use the restroom, your body may have already transitioned from deep sleep to light alertness, making it more difficult to fall back asleep. In addition, many older adults take medications for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management. And these drugs frequently have negative side effects like frequent urination and physical changes, temperature or heightened sensitivity to light or noise, which can subtly disrupt sleep. You might not even be aware of the link between your medication and your sleep patterns until someone makes the observation or you start keeping a closer record of your routine. For example, Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who has always been a light sleeper, began waking up at 3:30 a.m. every day for the past year. The important thing to keep in mind here is that physical wake-ups don't mean your body is failing. Rather, they're signs that your body is still doing its job, responding alertly. Making adjustments to these signals can lead to better care, more informed choices, and a deeper sense of trust in your own awareness. After months of assuming it was just aging, she spoke with her doctor and found that one of her medications was affecting her hydration levels and increasing her nighttime bathroom trips. With her doctor's assistance, she changed the timing of her dosage and made a few lifestyle changes, and now wakes up less frequently and falls back to sleep more easily when she does. The 4 lifestyle habits that alter your sleep rhythm are another potent but sometimes disregarded reason why older folks wake up at 3 in the morning. While it may seem like a hassle, it may also serve as a gentle reminder to listen in, check in, and make minor adjustments that promote greater health and deeper sleep. Lies in long-standing daily habits, small routines and choices that over time quietly reshape your internal rhythm. Many older adults naturally begin eating dinner earlier, winding down sooner in the evening, and experiencing less physical activity during the day. These seemingly minor adjustments accumulate and can signal to the body that the night should begin earlier, which inevitably pushes the wake-up time earlier too. When your days become quieter, especially after retirement, your body no longer receives the same external cues it once relied on, like commuting, running errands, or engaging in physically or mentally stimulating tasks. Without those cues, the body's sleep-wake cycle may begin to drift forward. A calm, dimly lit evening with minimal stimulation can cause your brain to produce melatonin early, inviting sleep before you've even realized the clock has struck 9 o'clock p.m. And once you're asleep earlier, your body simply finishes its rest earlier, waking up in those still pre-dawn hours, often right around 3 o'clock. Additionally, there's a subtle relationship between food timing and sleep quality. Eating dinner early, even though it's generally healthy, can occasionally cause a drop in blood sugar levels overnight, especially if you don't have a light snack before bed. Similarly, caffeine, even in the early afternoon, can linger in your system, especially as your metabolism slows down with age, making your sleep lighter and more prone to waking up at any disturbance. For someone like Walter, who is 74 and recently retired, these changes gradually occurred, making his days less structured and his evenings more relaxed. He found himself eating dinner at 5 p.m., falling asleep in his recliner while watching the evening news, and going to bed before 9 p.m. Most nights, without realizing it, his entire routine had changed a few hours earlier, before he started waking up at 3 in the morning. I'm puzzled by why he was wide awake before the birds even started singing. After reflecting in his routine, Walter began making small adjustments, adding a short walk in the afternoon, reading in brighter light during the evening, and avoiding naps after dinner. These changes helped push his natural sleep window just a bit later, allowing his body to settle into a rhythm that aligned more closely with his ideal wake-up time. What's remarkable is how often we overlook the power of routine. Our bodies crave rhythm, daily patterns that act like signals telling the brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. As those signals weaken or shift, the internal body clock can lose its bearings, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. But by noticing these patterns and making thoughtful adjustments, it's possible to gently guide the body back to a sleep cycle that feels more restored and less disrupted. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5. Emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes waking up at 3 a.m. has more to do with the mind than the body, and as we age, emotional layers that were previously hidden by the hecticness of daily life may begin to emerge in the stillness of the night. These early morning hours, when the world is still and distractions are few, often become the stage where unspoken worries, regrets, or longings begin to stir. You may find yourself lying awake, not because of noise or pain, but because your mind is quietly sorting through memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties you didn't realize were still with you. This kind of restlessness is different from the full-blown anxiety that might strike in youth. It's quieter, more reflective. It can feel like a soft hum in the background, a sense that something is unsettled, even if you can't quite name it. The mind, when not actively engaged, often reaches backward into old relationships, past decisions, losses endured, or words left unsaid. And because the body's no longer rushing from one responsibility to another, there's space for those thoughts to echo a little. It's also important to recognize that loneliness can play a role here for many older. Social circles shrink with time, children move away, friends become busy, and routines change. The daytime might be filled with light and activity, but nighttime brings quiet, and with it, an awareness of that emotional gap. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy. Sometimes it shows up simply as a desire for connection, or a faint ache for someone to talk to when the house is still. Consider someone like Gloria, who's 80 and widowed. During the day, she keeps busy tending her garden, calling her grandchildren, watching her favorite shows. But around 3 o'clock she frequently wakes up with thoughts of her late husband, or worries she keeps hidden during the day. At first she thought something was wrong with her sleep, but eventually she realized that her early awakening wasn't about sleep at all, but rather her heart's desire to be heard. To help herself, Gloria started keeping a small journal by her bed. When she wakes up, sometimes she writes down whatever's on her mind, nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also added a quiet evening ritual, such as writing a brief note to a friend, or listening to soft music. These small acts of introspection and connection gave her emotions a gentle outlet, calming her mind, and allowed her to sleep more peacefully. The truth is that the human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember, asks the questions it needs to ask, and sometimes does all of this at 3 in the morning. When everything else is quiet, it's a sign of depth, rather than a problem. If you wake up feeling introspective, it could indicate that you're carrying wisdom that's ready to be ignited. You've lived through joys and heartbreaks, and those experiences shape not just your memories, but your very sense of self. Rather than seeing these ups as something to fix, try approaching them with curiosity and kindness. What is your mind trying to tell you? What do you need to give voice? To what part of you needs a little grace even in dark? Sometimes the most meaningful kind of rest comes not from ignoring these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may find not only better sleep, but a richer understanding stage of life. Final thoughts as we wrap up this video. Take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've just heard. What resonated with you most? Was it the shift in your beautiful club, the subtle changes in your health, or perhaps something deeper, an emotional rhythm that only shows itself when the world is still? Each of these 5 reasons offers a different lens through which to understand your early morning wake-ups, and none of them point to something wrong or broken. In fact, they each reveal how deeply your body and mind are still working, still responding, still adapting as you move through the stage of life. There's a quiet power in understanding what your body is trying to say, especially in those soft hours before dawn. Rather than seeing 3 a.m. wake-ups as a nuisance, you might begin to see them as messages, gentle signals, reminding you to listen a little more closely to your needs, your habits, and your heart. You're not alone in this experience, and you're certainly not the only one searching for answers. But with insight comes strength, and with strength comes the freedom to make small, meaningful changes that support better rest, deeper comfort, and a strong connection to your own rhythms. if you've recognized yourself in any of these reasons. Today, know that you're not just aging, you're evolving, and with that evolution comes a chance to rest more intentionally, to care for yourself more gently, and to greet each morning with a bit more understanding and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.